enacting it. But like a delegate would assume to me, as opposed to someone who's elected to serve a term, a delegate is someone who can be recalled, right?
Well,
Or
correct.
is that done just annually, and then they usually serve their 12 months, but they can be recalled if by the
Uh,
branch, right?
Well, that's the reason why not only do you have a delegate for the Lex Sec and Fec, but you also have alternates. So
Right.
I'd imagine, I've not personally seen this, but I'd imagine for my local branch, if say for example, I put myself up to be the state sec, and let's imagine a scenario where I said I deliberately went to the state electoral council in the area, and I went in there with the intention of securing more public housing for the area. And I had that every intention, and my local branch knew that I wanted to do that. Um, and for some reason, I decide to renege on
Mm,
that
mm,
promise.
mm.
Um, that's the reason why you have the alternates, because not because people like because people will obviously would be angry at me that I
Mm.
went against my promise. And
Yes.
like really how they're typically done on a day-to-day basis is when a delegate doesn't can't meet a certain council meeting, usually your alternate steps in just so you have a seat at the table at that electoral council meeting. But sometimes they're used for another purpose.
Mm.
And I can tell you right now that if a delegate didn't follow what their mandate was, then they will be replaced.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. So it's grassroots in its inception, potentially, some
Yes.
policy. So it's not just stuff that's coming out of the interest of the political minds of those that have the political positions, like the actual elected officials. It's coming up from the organization itself, potentially from a grassroots movement and initiative.
Yes. So let
And
me,
it's democratically controlled because the people
yeah.
that are potentially providing these initiatives can be recalled if they step out of tune with that grassroots kind of
Mm.
understanding.
Well, let me give examples, because really, with the volunteering side, with those kind of rank and file movements that I was kind of saying to you before, um, hey, there's been some very successful ones. So in 2019, after the coalition did win government, and of course there was the major I guess the major talking point that came out of that, which was the Adani scandal, and obviously in the Hunter region in New South Wales, there
Mm,
was all of that talk of, well, hey, we've got all these coal-fired power stations. You want to do a transition period?
mhm.
What about us? What are you like? What are you going to do in terms of the transition? Because you can't just drop us like
Yeah,
a bunch of sack of potatoes. And
yeah.
what actually came out of that is all of the unions and all of the rank and file branches in the area was like, great, you know what? Let's do something about this. And that's where the Hunter Jobs Alliance came from. And it's
Hmm.
been the basically the collectivist union in that. Oh, sorry, the collectivist. Well, sorry. Let's say the collection in that area, that kind of labor movement, it was
Hmm.
their job to work with the community groups in that area, with the unions in that area, and go to employers, or at least find out the logistics of how do you transition these kind of jobs to a much more, I guess, greener society. So, like
Hmm.
one that has renewable energy instead of the coal powered fire stations.
Yeah.
And this Hunter Alliance, Jobs Alliance, has done quite well to at least upskill the workers in the area and I guess not leave them in the cold.
Mm.
And really, that was the unions and that was the rank and file groups that led that. So I would almost say that a branch or a rank and file branch is basically an organization within itself because really the branch reaches out to other branches and it's
Yep.
like, hey, there's this really important issue. Maybe we should go to the local community hall and bring all the local branches together. Hell, sometimes even um, the local electoral council or the state election council in that area. Because I don't know if I made it quite clear, but it's not just one big local election council or state election council. You
Mm.
have one for like the general area that everyone comes to. Like sometimes that local election council will almost help out the area and be like, hey, we understand that this is an important issue for you. Why don't we just hire the whole to have a rank and file meeting?
Mm.
And I've had ones on climate change. I've had ones when you know the abortion laws in the US when they were receded.
Hmm.
I think
Yep.
it was the end of last year. I attended a rank and file meeting where um, the local activists in the inner west area where I was explained to the local group as to what's going on in that situation, why it's important for Australia and that sort of thing. There was
Mm.
obviously the public housing one that we actually got to the New South Wales um, state conference floor, and
And how did that go? Did it get up?
well, yeah, that's basically what I was saying before is that that public housing motion was what Labor brought to the New South Wales state election.